humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful, and we're beautiful, and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the Spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's still a lot to talk about as it relates to Dragon Age: The Veilguard. We need to look at what went wrong, and I think that in order to get to the heart of that, we need to look at who was responsible for the dialogue, which is the most shocking part. Now, there are many people who have played this game that want to like it, desperately want to like it. And there are people who are even amenable to some of the more trans and, LGBT elements. People like Moist Critical, that has gone on record and said that he's comfortable living in a world where a 9-year-old can consent to transitioning if, their parents are involved. Somebody like that is not necessarily going to be affected by some of the more radical LGBTQ elements in the game. But even he was talking about how disappointed he was with the dialogue, that it treated him like he was an idiot, that it talked down to him. And that is a common theme when you get these woke activists. They want to lecture you because they don't think that you're going to get the message if they make it too subtle. So, in that vein, I want to show you a clip. And I think this is critically important that you watch this, because this is a scene taken from the game. And I gotta tell you, I don't care who you are, this will immediately remove you from the game, and this will put you in a place of, I can't believe that there are these disgusting freaks working on this that would try to basically bombard me with this propaganda. It's one of the most easily identifiable things. They're not smart for doing this. They're not quirky. It's just obnoxious.
Here, vegetables.
Thank you.
So, I'm non-binary.
What does that mean?
It means I don't feel like a man or a woman.
If you are neither a man nor a woman, then what are you?
Non-binary. I just said, and I'm going to use they instead of she from now on.
This is because I have criticized your dress or your manners.
It isn't!
I love the laugh track, because this thing, it is a joke. It's a very bad joke, but it is a joke. No, freak, you're either a man or a woman. It really is that simple. It really does come down to that. You're not special or quirky. You're unique. You are a man or a woman. There are two genders. It's really that simple. Everyone wants to try to hyper-complexify it because they want to feel like they're unique, but they're not. You're not. It's obnoxious, and it's ridiculous. And we're going to watch the rest of this, but I want you to sit here and really remember that this is a fantasy game. And here's the thing. This isn't some free thing that they put on YouTube. Like, for example, if this were just some video that they put up on YouTube for free that you could watch or not watch, I'd be like, whatever. But the fact of the matter is they're expecting you to pay $60 or $70 for this. In fact, some of the more expensive editions and stuff, it costs more. And so they're expecting you to pay for their propaganda, and the answer is absolutely not. There is no way. There is not a chance in hell that I'm going to pay for your disgusting, despicable propaganda, and it is gross. It is gross when you try to inject this crap, because first of all, in a fantasy setting, this person would be burned as a heretic. There's no chance that this would be tolerated or accepted, or I'm going to go by they. They didn't have that in the high fantasy setting because it's stupid. It's stupid in our world. It's even more stupid in that world. But you are exporting your derangement and your delusion and your disgusting, degenerate lifestyle into this game. And I got to tell you, no one's buying it. Let's watch the rest of this, then I'll get into it.
Under the clue, the term for one whose gender does not match the one given to them at birth was a cunithlock. Perhaps you are like that.
Why do you have to keep picking at it? Why can't you just be happy for me?
Evitosh, chakra to ebra.
Who I am? Even if I don't feel like I fit, even if I feel wrong?
No, you misunderstood. I will go. Thank you for inviting me to your home.
And I'll also mention, like, these disgusting freaks, the way that they're presented in this sort of media and entertainment is though they're condescending to their parents or they're condescending to people. And the thing is, I've watched this across multiple different genres, and they've really, really, really tried to get me to feel bad for the person who's throwing a fit. But every time I've looked at this and said, it is obvious that the obnoxious asshole is the one that's trying to redefine language and then trying to shame people for not abiding by it. So the mother in this is trying to basically push back on this, and the answer is, well, how dare you push back on this? And this freak, this abomination gets upset and gets angry. Well, if you want to know who is responsible for this, if you want to know across the entire dialogue spectrum who's responsible for this, well, we may have an insight into that. Let's talk about Laura Kate Dale for a second. You may not know who that is. I wouldn't blame you. But it's this abomination right here, this freak, this disgusting, degenerate, bottom-feeding, low IQ piece of trash. Now, let me refresh your memory. This is a person that worked for Kotaku, because of course they are. All of the worst, most depraved, degenerate freaks work at Kotaku. And this is the person that tried to make a scandal out of Persona 5. They used Kotaku's platform to basically accuse Persona 5 of having a quote-unquote ableist slur in the form of the word retarded, which I use the word retarded all the time. It's not an ableist slur. It's making fun of you for being retarded. They basically made the accusation with no evidence that that word was in the song. And yeah, Kotaku actually apologized for this one. The backlash was so great they had to apologize. Kotaku was forced to apologize, and Dale deciding to quit Twitter for a while in response. So understand, that's the person that has been brought on to write for Dragon Age the Veilguard. This is the same person, Laura Kate Dale. I just got approval to say this. I worked on Dragon Age the Veilguard. I've been sat on this secret for nearly 4 years, and I'm also so excited to finally be able to tell everyone I'm in the credits. Thank you so much for Patrick Weeks for reaching out to get me involved. Now, I don't know what role this person has, but let me just put it in perspective. If you are EA, or you're a company, and you have you have people that are hiring a freak like this, somebody who's perpetually angry, somebody who writes trash like the Persona article, somebody who is an activist, somebody who is the worst sort of scum on the internet, when you are hiring garbage like this, you are setting yourself up for disaster. Because the reality is that the majority of the people that are going to be playing the game do not align with the values of this radical freak. So, by doing this, by setting this up in the way that you are just dooming yourself to more hardship than would otherwise be there. So if you want to know a little bit about Patrick Weeks, who hired this person, and by the way, of course, because Blue Sky is now the refuge, at least for the next month, of all of these freaks. They're trying. They always try to leave Twitter and then they come back because they fail, because all these people fail. And yeah, oh yeah, and they have a book, Gender Euphoria, Stories of Joy. Yeah, these people are just disgusting, and they can't separate any of their work from fiction. But if you want to know who hired her, or did I say her? Him. It's this thing right here, Patrick Weeks. Now, this guy, before he had this mental breakdown and became a disgusting freak, was actually not that bad in terms of writing. But what I find is that a lot of times people, when they, are given some sense of financial stability or notoriety or something, they eventually lose their mind. And I don't know what this is, a cause of, but this person now has they them in their bio, blue hair, because of course you do, and it's a continuation of what we've seen before. Now, many content creators don't want to talk about this; they don't want to mention it at all, because for them it's a touchy subject. I don't care. I think that calling this out is important. The fact that Patrick Weeks has the pedo flag in his bio, the fact he is they them. The fact that he puts all of that shit out there and then hires somebody like that who's a discredited, disgusting, degenerate freak that is all about, I'm all about trans activism. When you are putting that type of person and you're putting these type of freaks into positions of authority over a project like this, it is doomed to fail. It is doomed to fail. And is it any wonder that the numbers for Dragon Age the Veilguard are abysmal? They're abysmal. I mean, we're thinking like a Dragon Age game. What do you think that the numbers are right now? Let me just ask you, the audience. What do you think the numbers are right now? It's the weekend. It's Saturday. What do you think the numbers for Dragon Age the Veilguard are right now? Did you think like 300,000, 400? I mean, it's the weekend. A new game, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, just released. It's the weekend. Everyone's going to be playing this, right? Everyone's going to be out there playing this game. At its peak, it didn't even reach 100,000 players. I really want you to just reflect on this. There are some people who may not like my tone. They may not like the way that I say things. They may not, oh, you call this person a freak? Yeah, because they are freaks. You may not like it. But the fact is that if you ignore this, and you refuse to acknowledge this, and you don't acknowledge that a majority of people don't agree with the LGBT community, they don't agree with that lifestyle, they don't agree with that mindset, it's abnormal, it's degenerate, it's wrong, it's weird, and it's off-putting. Now, people will pay lip service to the opposite, but what they actually do speaks volumes. Nobody wants to play a game where they sit down at a table and they have to have an interaction with a character, and that character has some kind of Twitter tirade about pronouns. Nobody wants to play a game, and they're sitting around, and their entire team gets together, and, well, one of the characters, Isabella, who, by the way, they definitely nerfed her tits. They definitely made her tits smaller. Because of course you would. If you're one of these freaks, your main goal is to pander to transgenders who are not women, but claim that they're women. And so, because of that, you can't have women that actually look like women. You have to have women that look more like men, because otherwise you're discriminating against the men who pretend to be women, which is, I mean, actually pretty goddamn sexist. I feel bad for women in times like this where women aren't allowed to be women because men are getting their feelings hurt that they're not women. So Isabella doing a mea culpa and doing push-ups because she referred to this freak as I refer to her as she. Well, I don't know what the hell it is, but it's not a they them. It's not a they. They're not more than one person. This is just LARP porn for these people. And to be honest, this has no place in gaming. It has no place in entertainment. It has no place in media. It has no place in our society. It should be looked at with the same sort of disgust and sort of revulsion as like mobile lobotomies back decades ago. Decades and decades and decades. You know, they'd have these mobile lobotomies that would come around and they would, quote unquote, fix women. I think that's the way that we should look at this. This is a disgusting trend. And thankfully it's dying. Thankfully it's absolutely dying because more and more companies are realizing that it is a financial black hole. But the thing that's perplexing is that this is going to fail. You know that it's not going to work. You know. And yet you do it anyway. Why? Why would you do it anyway? Why would you do something that you know is going to fail? You see, if in an alternate universe, if EA had reached out to me and said, look, BioWare's not what it once was. We bought this company because we thought it was going to be something special. It was during the height of Dragon Age and Mass Effect, but over the last couple of years, they've done nothing. They've been a failure every time. Andromeda, it's just one example. Anthem is just embarrassing. They've never really been able to find their mark again on anything. What can you do? I'd say, okay, I'll take care of it. And I would walk right in to BioWare headquarters, or, I'd walk into the studio like I'm Anakin Skywalker entering the Jedi Temple during Order 66, and I'd be like, you're all fired. Well, not everyone. Well, we would find the talented, dedicated men like Elon Musk did, probably Asians or, Indian Americans or, people who are more dedicated to the lore, people that could probably watch like a 2 or 3 hour video on their off time about the lore. And we would find them. We wouldn't fire all of them, but we'd fire the majority of the people. Pretty much it would be Order 66 on anyone with blue hair, or they, them in their bio, or people that obviously put, their quote-unquote progress and identity politics over making a competent, coherent game. But I thought that it was important, and basically I would go from there to try to craft the most, solid story narrative, probably to rebuild the reputation of BioWare. And I know that people have been apprehensive to this, but after I purged the entire company mostly, I would have them do remakes of Dragon Age Origins. I'd have them do remakes of Mass Effect 1 with the highest graphical fidelity that we could have. I would have, them remaster the audio, add in more choices so there'd be more places to go, maybe some more enemy variety, add in a little bit of updated, mechanics. Not for the Veilguard, because that's atrocious, but maybe introducing like a system where you could play like it's Elden Ring with that sort of mechanic, or you could play in like a more like RPG format, like a stylized turn-based thing, giving the player the choice to choose between the two, doing something to make it fresh and innovative, but taking what people loved about that game and trying to bring it back out. Because I would have to do something to remind people. Maybe a complete and total remake of Jade Empire. That might be a really good one to remind people of just how great BioWare used to be, and build on that momentum to make something new and innovative and good, and try to pull the reputation of the brand from the back of the abyss. But unfortunately, they have no plans to do that. Instead, it's people like this, running to Blue Sky because they don't want to face the criticism of of the fact that they did a terrible job, and people are criticizing heavily the dialogue. Now, I'm criticizing a lot more than that, but at the end of the day, we agree that the dialogue is absolutely abysmal. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have more videos to do on this because there's so many different layers to peel back, but I appreciate you watching. I know everyone and their mother is doing a video on this, but I appreciate you tuning in. And, yeah, we're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to continue to talk about this because this is the perfect opportunity to do it. Maybe we can finally get some change in the industry, and that's the point. I wanted Dragon Age the Veilguard to do well because I want all these companies to do well. Because if they do well, then there are more franchises, there are more IPs to play. There are more people that are going to be brought in because there's more people brought in with positivity than negativity. I know this goes against the defenders of this crap. Oh, you just want negativity for clicks and views. No, I would very much like a positive community because more people are going to come in and they're going to be excited. They're going to want to see more. They're going to want to experience more. That means more viewers over the long term. Negativity is a short-term solution. It's sort of like the dark side. You get this boost of power, but then it fizzles. The reality is I would much rather this game have done well. But we see behind the scenes, we see the sort of writers, we see what's in their bio, we see what's in their heart, and these are people that lack accountability. They're narcissists, they're degenerate, they don't really have the ability to do anything in today's climate. And we're looking at other games that have dialogue that is just so far superior to them that they're not even in the same league. And you combine that with all of the other woke shit, and it's unacceptable. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.